pay adoration and to bring gifts to Jesus. It's a wonderful and powerful story with a whole range of exciting characters. I don't want to delve into the characters too much. Just very briefly, we have King Herod. Herod was put on the throne by Rome in the year 47 BC as governor. He did such a great job for the Roman Empire that they made him a king of the Jews in 40 BC, and he continued to reign until 4 BC. Don't be confused by the fact that his reign ended in 4 BC, yet he was the king when Christ was born. Christ obviously wasn't born BC. There's a little bit of ambiguity with the calendar around that point. Herod was a tremendously great politician. He was a wonderful builder of buildings. He built colosseums, he built theaters and museums. Of course, he built the temple in Jerusalem. He reigned over those 4 decades with great strength. He was such a good king, he even gave his people a big tax break when times were hard. Perhaps we should call him back. But then again, though he was great in some ways, he had one little fault. He was insanely jealous. When he thought that his wife Miriam was a threat to him, he killed her. When he thought his eldest son Antipater was a threat to him, he killed his own son. When he thought 2 of his other sons were a threat, he had them killed as well. Before his death, he arrested all the greatest citizens in Jerusalem and imprisoned them and said, on the day that I die, I want you to kill all 70 of these people so that somebody will cry on the day of my death. So there you have Herod. It is very consistent with his character that he would have had this plan of killing the baby Jesus and killing all the babies in Bethlehem in order to make sure he got him. Quite consistent. Then you have the Magi, those people who came from the east, descendants of the great Median Persian Empire that had ruled the world. They become the symbol of all who have conquered Christ, now bowing down to Christ. They were philosophers and theologians. Above all, of course, they were astronomers who saw history played out in the stars. I'm sure you've all heard before, we do not know how many there were. We will later on sing a song about the 3 wise men. We've even given them names, Casper, Melchior, and Belshazzar. We do not know their numbers. You already know all of that. And you know the gifts they brought: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Gold because Christ was a king, frankincense because Christ was a priest, myrrh, embalming fluid, because Christ was going to die. The whole story of Christ told in those Magi and their gifts and their journey to Bethlehem. But of course, the greatest character in this story, apart from Christ, isn't Herod or the Magi, it is the star. And I have a little bit of a fixation on that star and all that it means, because what the star meant to those ancient theologians was this: the star was the symbol of destiny. The star is the thing that says, this is the direction in which you must travel, and if you fix your eyes on your star, you will be led to that life that God has planned for you. If you are open to the Spirit, if you see the star, if you follow it, you will find your destiny. And I want to find my destiny. And I make the assumption that every one of you here and all of you in the TV audience, you want to know, what is my destiny? And how do I get there? I'll help you a bit with your destiny today. What the word destiny means is this: destiny is your best life. There are a whole variety of different pathways pathways you can take. There are all different ways in which your life can unfold, but there is a destiny meant for you that is the absolute best that you can do and the best that you can be in God's plan. Let us look for our star. Let's look, each of us, for our destiny and find fulfillment in it. Let me give you two little things about destiny that will help you to make sure you are heading for it. The first is this: if you're going to fulfill your best life, you must see it, focus on it, and aim for it in all things that you do. There are so many distractions around us in life, things that can prevent us from reaching that best life and that destiny. You've got to focus on your star and on your destiny if you are ever going to get there. Remember, those wise men didn't just set out for a journey that took them several days. They had likely followed that star for 2 or 3 or 4 years. We think it may have been an appearance of Halley's Comet as early as 11 BC, or an unnamed comet in 7 BC, or a supernova in 4 BC, or a strange brightness of Sirius the Dog Star in 2 BC. But whatever it was, their journey took years. And day after day, though they were surrounded by distractions, they kept saying, we must look up, we must see the star, and we must go in that direction. That's how you get to your wonderful destiny.